Hello, my name is Somalia, and I would like to tell you a story / in a dream that I had. Plus, all of this is the truth. So, in my dream, I had a dream that I was sitting on my front porch, and my mom's baby sister was there, and her two children. Her two children, like, 6 months or something.
Yeah,
apart?
like 6 months apart.
Like 6 months apart. They babies still to this day now. So they was laying in my mom's room. So after me and my sister looking over them, I come outside and sit on the porch with my mom and her sister as they talking. So she talking to my mom, saying whatever she was saying to her. I wasn't really paying attention. I was looking in the blue. As I'm looking in the blue, I was getting my legs wiped down. What I thought was an angel, until I get the dream the next day that it was Jesus who was wiping me down. So now Jesus wiping my legs down from right leg to left leg to the right leg, my foot, my arms, and when he got to my face, he showed me a vision in my dream of my two little cousins who was laying in my mom's room on the bed. One of them was 6'4", and the next one was 4'6". So I said, how would these babies be like that? Why one of them so tall and one of them so short? He wiped my face and said, that's me. And I said, that's me. And I just woke up. When I woke up, it was almost like a moment. Should I keep it to myself, or should I tell my family what I just dreamed? So I told my mom and my sister what I just dreamed, because my head was spinning like it was throbbing. Like if I didn't tell, I could have died from this. It's how I felt, like I was going to fall out or something. So now I go and tell my mom and my sister what I dreamed. Yeah, my head still was killing me and aching me. But when I told my sister, it opened up her eyes. I go to the back to the altar and pray and ask the Lord to take this feeling away from me. What is this feeling that I have? Now, I grabbed my phone, text my first cousin, Tweety. I text her and told her what I just dreamed. When I text her and told her what I just dreamed, I woke her up. She said, every time when I was little, I used to ask, was they together, was they married, or what? So now, this is a conversation between us three. Now, as me and my sister keep talking about what I dreamed, our childhood memories came back in. When we was kids living in the house with my mom, baby sister, our uncle used to come over there, and them two used to be into something, and we couldn't identify him as well, because we didn't know him like that too well. We was just getting to know him. We just only knew his name, and she used to deny his name to us. We used to be like, that's Desmond. She used to say, no, it's Ken, that's half of his middle name. So we didn't know that was his middle name then. So we like, oh, okay. So what else, what you want to say?
How we came in the living room that night. There was one time we was in the room, how we told y'all we stayed with my mom's baby sister, because at that time my mom was sick inside the hospital, and I don't know for how long or how many months, but we was in the room one night. The living room light, it was like a little apartment too, and the living room light was on, and our room light was on also. So I guess the door was cracked, and we heard that she had company out there. So we walked outside where she was at, in the living room where she was at, and it was all like intimate, like kissing and all that stuff. And he was sitting on the couch, and he had braids in his hair, and she was rubbing on his head or something like that with some brown boots he had on. So we was like, is that? Looking at the man, thinking, because then this is the trick part. We ain't seen the uncle in time, because we was staying with our mom, and he was staying somewhere else. Her baby sister was staying somewhere else. So by the time we moved with her baby sister, we didn't see him in I don't know how long, probably a couple months to a couple years. So by the time we see him again, his face looked familiar. We had aged some probably about 8, 9, or 6 through 7. I'm gonna say all those ages within that time frame. So we was young. So we looked at him and was like, "Is that Desmond?" She said, "No, Ken." So this is back to the memory that she had. How we didn't know if it was him or another man named Ken, but the man looked just like her. Well, a favorite her, and he was looking like the man we knew. So
one night we in the room and we hear him coming over. So we said when he come over, we was gonna bust out of the room and get a good look at his face. So now he come over, we bust out of the room, and she grabbed his neck and started kissing him, and they went into the bathroom. So as they go into the bathroom, we knew from that day that was him. So now we went to the park the next day. As we went to the park at that night, I prayed and I had asked God, is this really our uncle, or this is a man who she dealing with? So as I'm at the park with my sister, we at the park probably like when we get out to school, when we was get out of school, we go to the park. So we went to the park. I'm on the swings, and as I'm on the swings, an angel approached me. And when the angel approached me, the angel said, "Your prayer has been heard." And I knew what my prayer was. He said, "You shall go to your auntie and tell your auntie committing incest is bad." My sister was there, standing there too, as the angel was talking to me. Then I said, "So that is Desmond, The angel telling me, yes, it's him, and so on. So the angel told me that my auntie was unaware of committing incest is bad, but my uncle knew that it was wrong and it's forbidden. So I said, okay. Then the angel told me, when you tell her to stop this, he told me exactly what to say. Told me if she don't stop it, her eyes should be cocked like a pistol. So I said, okay. So the angel told me, and you should surely die. And I said, I should die? And the angel said, yes. And then the angel said, but you shall meet the king when you die. And I said, the king. So now I walked from the angel and we walked into the house. I told my sister, I don't know about that. I don't think I'm going to tell Mookie what the angel just told me to say, because I was scared that I was going to die. So I went home. We took a shower and stuff. It was getting later. Same procedure every night. He come at nighttime when her husband was at work. So she was cheating on her husband with her brother. So now as her husband at work, her husband used to get off like 12 o'clock or something. By that time we in the bed laid down for school. But we used to hear a lot of noise and things going on in the house that we shouldn't be hearing. So now, when it's like 9 o'clock or something, I told my sister, after I told her in the daytime I wasn't going to tell it because I was scared. Now I get up and I tell my sister, I'm finna go out of the room, just stay in here. Whatever happened to me, you just stay inside of the room. So I went out there and I told my auntie that she should stop committing adultery. She don't, incest. And she was committing adultery too.
Oh yeah, that too.
But
that's
I told her,
true.
If she don't stop committing incest, that her eyes shall be cocked like a pistol and her eyes will be open and open forever. So I said, y'all are not Connie and Nap, which is their parents' name. And she went crazy on me. Told me to get back in the room and whatnot. So I went back in the room as she said. We woke up that morning. Her eyes was big. When she opened the door for us, we jumped back and we screamed like, what? Then she cussed us out and said, what the, y'all looking at like that and stuff like that. She go into the bathroom and she saw her eyes was big. So now she screamed and said what we did to her and all of these things. Then we go to school. The day that we went to school, she had a plan made for us already. So now that it was the next day for me to go to school, she only sent me to school and she left my sister home. So I happened to come out of school and I see my sister's wrist cut right here. And I said, what's wrong with your wrist? Why it's cut right there? You know, if you did that, you could have killed yourself. You can die. And she gonna tell you what happened.
So I was I was home by myself at home alone too. And it was like, I don't know if it happened early in the morning, but it was sunlight, you know, bright sun in the daytime. So I walked into the living room and they lowered me to the couch. It was her and her older auntie saying, come here, come here, come here. Then saying something to me. They bribed me into it and they told me to get in my hand. And they cut my wrist real light and must have dripped it in some kind of container. Me not knowing what's going on or what they was doing to me, I think I just turned my head by the time they was doing it because they kept saying it was my family. Now I was just a little girl and I was just listening to whatever they were saying to me. So by the time Mala came home, which is my sister right here, she seen it, and I think I tried to get like some kind of shirt or something to tie up my wrist because I knew that I was bleeding out and they didn't care. So I was like, and it started hurting. My arm was hurting. So I was like, maybe I can tie it. I don't know how I thought of that, like to tie something like and put pressure on my arm right here. It was cut. So my big sister seen it. Then she told me if I could kill myself if I'm cutting myself. I told her I did not cut myself. They cut me.
And when she said they cut me and I come through the door that day, she was trying to tell me her auntie is my auntie, and that's not true. Her auntie is not my auntie. That's her auntie on her father's side. I'm so kin to her on her mother's side. So it wasn't the same feeling there. Each family member I have, I know their heartbeat. I know a beat to them that I know there's some kin to me. It can be a distant cousin. It's a certain drum I hear where I know it's family and we're connected. So I didn't feel that with her auntie. And I keep on trying to say, why this woman keep trying to pressure me to say that this lady is my aunt?
Yeah.
And so as that was going on, the next morning I woke up of the day that they cut my sister's wrist. My sister head was bent over like she was paralyzed and slop coming out of her mouth.
Yes, and I could not talk.
Oh my God, what's wrong with her?
Yep.
She couldn't talk to me, respond, or nothing. So I couldn't figure out how all of a sudden I had a normal sister, and now that my sister is paralyzed and like handicapped.
Yeah.
So as that happened, I'm going to school. This must be happening like probably a week or so. Probably like a week or so. So as this week going on, I was supposed to bring my homework and do my homework at home all the time. But I was not bringing my homework home. I was doing my homework and hiding it in my desk. And my teacher was watching me throughout this whole week, and I didn't know she was watching me. So now she confronted me and asked me, what's going on home? Why you not doing your homework home? What's happening? Then I keep lying to her like, I am doing my homework. I just put it in there early. I got caught this one Friday. So now she was willing to go home with me and see what's going on, and then she noticed that my sister was missing out of school throughout this whole week. So she go to my house, my aunt's house where we was living at, and she asked him where my sister and stuff. My aunt was working at Publix, and as she there, she didn't see my aunt there. So she talking to us, and she like nothing not making sense to her until she saw my sister, and she know my sister was not handicapped or couldn't speak and stuff. So she prayed over my sister, and she broke this spell that was on my sister off every time. Okay, before she broke the spell, I used to get my sister and take her to the park with me, and I didn't want to leave her in the house. Now, I climbed into a dumpster and got a stroller out of the dumpster where I can push her around because I couldn't carry her weight anymore because it was like, it become like dead weight. So I had a cousin, his name was Anthony. He used to also help me lift up her body and upheld her body. He was actually the one that told my teacher the truth because he was in a higher grade than me. I was in the 3rd grade. I was a 3rd grader and my sister was in the 2nd grade. So now as that going on, she come to the house and she see that my sister was like that. She lift her up in the alley, and because we stayed in the alleyway, she lifted her up in the alley and prayed over her, and she broke the spell. My sister was talking and walking again like how she was. So now we knew what they did. They was doing witchcraft.
Yes, they was doing
on us
witchcraft.
Inside of the house. Kept on taking our toys, our clothes, giving us like dirty clothes and dirty socks to wear to school and stuff. And as that was going on, and when my sister was paralyzed, she had an angel that was right on by her side every morning when she woke up. And he told me and her his name was Raphael.
His name was Raphael. He used to stand with me all day. And how I told y'all, my head was bent over and I used to lay on the floor. And I used to just like drool out the mouth and stuff. He used to stand over my head every hour of the day and every night. Every time I opened my eyes at night and couldn't sleep or something and I couldn't talk, he was right there with me.
Yep.
His name is Raphael.
Yep. And as he was with her, every day out of the week, every day, he wouldn't leave her side. He was with us. So we used to go to sleep in our room with the angel in our room, knowing that he was there and we could see him.
And his light was
bright. We greet each other every morning. She had us in the room starving. We was sticks and bones.
Yes.
The angel had gave us a bread from heaven and to eat bread. We was full off that bread a long time.
Yeah.
And that's how we began to get weight on our bodies. Our bodies were so thin and just scribble up.
Yes.
But when we ate that bread from heaven, we got our weight up. So now it was my turn to face this death that the angel Michael told me that I should be dead. He was the angel that approached me at the park and told me that I must go and tell my auntie if she don't stop incest that her eyes will be caught like a pistol and eyes open forever. So now my time was coming. Every night they used to take me out of the room and they used to throw me to these windows. They had mirrors on every wall in the house. They used to take my body and throw me from wall to wall, and I'm crushing up the mirrors and everything. And this one time, this was the last time but they did this to me. She took my arm, this same arm, took it and broke it. And it never got healed from nobody but the angel. The angel took my arm and popped my arm right back in place. And that's how I can move my arm and work with my arm. Right now to this day, my arm is broken, but it's working because of God and the Lord. That's how I can move and do things with my arm. Now, as they broke my arm, I collapsed and fall down to the floor. They stomping me, splitting my lip with high heel shoes, hitting me in my eye, making my eye black and blue. And my sister was locked in the room. And now they left and run out because this night they beat me to death. They beat me till I died. When I died, they grabbed a plastic bag and they strangled me to death. I have asthma and I was born with asthma. So I collapsed on the floor and my sister, they left me there and I heard them planning over my head saying they was going to tell my mom that I was kidnapped by a man because they was going to go bury my dead body under her auntie house because her auntie house was huge. So they went to the auntie house and go get all of these things. But when I died, Jesus was right there, and I was talking to Jesus. And the angel opened up the door for my sister so she can come out. My sister came out, then she took the bag off my head, and she laid my head inside of her lap, and she was crying.
Yeah, I was crying and crying and crying. Then as I keep crying, I keep saying, like, how could they do this, and why would they put the bag on her head? Because I knew they was abusing her, and it was like I had eyes outside of the room when they was doing it that night. I don't know how I seen them when they popped her arm out of place the same night they killed her. So as they was fighting her, I used to just be in the room just crying and praying because I was younger and I couldn't do nothing then. And it just hurted my feelings so bad. So by the time I came out, she had a black bag over her head and was laying on the ground. So I just was crying and crying. Then I was, as I was crying, I heard somebody talk to me, and it's like a scream. Then she said she was already there with Jesus in herself. So I heard them. As soon as I heard them, I looked where the position where I heard the talking from.
Yeah, when I was standing with Jesus and she picked up my head and take the bag off and was crying, I keep saying, I'm not dead. And Jesus said, y'all connected. No matter who come in between y'all connected. Y'all was made for each other. As Jesus told me that, I keep trying to make her spirit know that I was there and I was alive. And I yelled the last time because I almost gave up because Jesus said, she can't hear you yet. And I said, called out her name, and she looked towards the way me and Jesus was standing. And from there on, they was trying to come back to the house and get my body so they can go bury me under the house. Jesus put my spirit back in my body, and I got up. First, the angels blocked out my auntie for coming inside. So as they blocked my auntie for coming inside, they snatched her auntie in the house where we was. So they snatched her auntie inside of the house. Then I got up with my arm working and things like that, and we ran her out of the back door. And now I was alive again, and we was alive. And I think my mom must be come out of the hospital because she had a miscarriage, and she has really bad asthma herself. So she was in the hospital. She fell into a coma because of her asthma, and she have an enlarged heart. So that's why she was in the hospital as long as she was. And I think the Lord released her and come and get us, and we was back to normal, get our house and things like that back.
And I think all that was like to uncover what was going on. That was like a revelation from God for us to even know they was committing incest. That was like the most disgusting thing that we could ever know. Then do you know, after these many years, we resaw her so we got our new house, right? So it must have was 2 years that had passed in our new home. We re-seen her face, and we was like, what is this? Like, and we were so traumatized. So I think we just blocked out our whole feelings, what we felt and everything. So by the time we seen her again, it was so weird, and she kept coming around to our new house 2 years later, wanting our mama to abuse us, wanting our mama to whoop us about certain things, coming around looking at our friends and saying our friends is much more beautiful than us. Like this girl named, a red little girl, her name was Kadra. She was more so of my friend, but it was my sister, one of her old best friends, because we met these girls. They stayed right next door to us, so they was like our next door neighbor, the girls next door. She come and she sit on my mom's couch, and mind you, we never told our mom about this experience that we had with them because it was so disgusting.
We told our great grandmother, and our that's how she stopped putting her hands on us, because we told our great grandmother, and she come over there and used to sit over there every day inside of her van in the alley to make sure nobody harm us or touch us, because our great grandmother had our grandma, and that's how our auntie even get born, through my grandmother. And her mother still was alive and looking over us. So she come there and make sure that they don't do this. And she was so angry at them that we told them that they was sleeping with each other. Right now to this day, my aunt have 5 kids. 5, right?
Yeah, 5.
4 of them is from my uncle.
Yeah.
4 of them is from my uncle.
Yes.
Her firstborn, when he was born,
He was.
I looked at the palm of his hand. She brought him over there. She tried to, like, didn't want him. She brought him over there to our house. Me and my sister lift him up to the sky for Jesus. Do you know that this baby that come to our house that was handicapped wasn't handicapped anymore? Because we put him up to the Lord and lift him up. His whole bones and everything changed to a regular kid.
Yes.
And she was upset with us with these other kids because we didn't want anything to do with her from the year 2012.
Yeah, 2012,
13. She tried to burn our house down because we had a gas stove. So she come over there like she want to stay the night. The whole time she got the fire going and trying to burn us up inside of our home.
Yes. And we kept trying to get up that night. Every time I get up and come out the room, the stove was on. Something telling me to go check the stove. Go check the stove. The stove on, the fire, and then we had a gas stove. She kept turning the fire on to the gas stove in our house. And it was only by the grace of God that we didn't go to sleep that night because we didn't trust her that night. Yep. And every time I walked past her on the couch, she was sleeping on the couch because it was like a hallway. Then as soon as you come like out of my room, you come out the hallway, you can see the main couch right there. Her eyes was open like balloons, like frog eyes. I was like, why is she not sleeping? Every time I go to the kitchen, the stove on, and I know she's doing it because she's not sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep, and that's what was happening. How she didn't get a chance to that to happen because our dad had got a vision that she was coming over to our house to burn down our house.
Yes.
So our dad stayed on the phone with us all of these hours while he is praying the hour of an incense. He was praying all these hours,
yes,
praying for humbleness and praying for the Lord to protect us and keep his arms around us. And 6 o'clock come, he told me to go out there and to run the enemy away. And 6 o'clock came, that's exactly what I did. And she gonna get up and go run away, but she tried to burn our house down.
All those hours.
All those hours
until 6 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like a horrible lifetime story. And another part I want to add in is that back to our old house when we had got over the abuse, because my grandma, she stopped the beatings because after I had got when I got from unhandicapped, we still had to tell my grandma of the beatings because one of my older cousins, we used to be crying and so sad. Just Christmases come, we didn't want to talk to kids. Just nothing. And it was my 2 little cousins, the same boy Anthony. He used to help my sister lift me up in the stroller and stuff. So now Christmas fly around, they noticed we were so depressed and so sad and so compressed. Nothing would basically leave our lips. So then it was the older cousin. He was like grown. Who my younger them cousin was around also, because my younger them cousin, they had a mom who was on drugs and stuff. So they was like about the place also, staying with another cousin on a block away. So he was a man and he was going with a woman. But anyway, the man, Bruno, he told us to call our grandmother if something is going on with us, if anything is wrong. So that was like a whole eye-opener, because the enemy will make you feel like you're trapped. If you're going through something in a relationship, familyship, situationship, he will make you feel like you can't have nowhere to turn, nowhere to call, especially when you are of a young age, or you feel alone, and you want to feel like you don't have no one, but you can always tell somebody what's going on and help will come. Jesus will show you someone is at your aid to help you. And that's what we got out of our grandma, not thinking like, oh, she would come and do this or that. And then plus we not really troublemakers and trouble starters, so like, most of the time back then it wasn't really discipline. When somebody is doing something to you, you just had to suck it up, especially in my mom them day, because there was so much going on in my mom family. It was a bad family. So if something is going on, it was like no one cared. You call the police, they say it's nothing happening, stuff like that. So it was really bad. But my grandma stopped it. And then that's when we, I guess, stayed with her for some time. And then one final day, my mom got out the hospital from that, and she pulled up in my grandma's van also. Then we left.
Yep.
Yep.
And from then on, we was like, from around our aunt, away from her and out of her presence. But she keep trying to sneak up in our life and like do different things and say different things, because we know her and our uncle is having each other and they together.
Yes.
They got these 4 children together and all of that. Right now, 2018, we caught them having sex again.
Yes.
And the Spirit of God, I was putting on my work uniform. As I'm getting dressed for work, the Spirit of God told me to get up and go to my auntie house and go visit my auntie. I got up, told my sister, let's just go over there to my auntie house. It was Christmas. My sister said, you must be feeling the Christmas spirit. I said, I don't know. I think it's the Spirit of God telling me to go. We go over there. We see our uncle's car in the yard. Something wasn't registering. Now we waiting on the outside of her house for a minute, knocking on her door. They don't have no back doors or nothing. So he couldn't sneak out of the house. He had to be in the house. So as we get in there, she talking like all fast and stuff.
Yes.
And my auntie and my uncle both are on drugs as well. So as she talking all fast and stuff, I'm standing there looking at her trying to figure out what is it about or why she talking so fast and nobody can get what she's saying right now. Her kids was laying down in the living room and they was feeling on each other, doing things to each other. So we tell that they was out there doing stuff to each other that was not good. Now, our uncle come out of the room and walk past us like we some strangers, only because he was stuck inside of that room and we knew he was in there. She tried to tell us it was her baby daddy's car, but that was not her baby daddy's car. That was his car, and he copied her baby daddy color of his car. So they was trying to fool us like we was some still little.
Like amateurs.
They still try to act like we are still children in their eyes, and we're 30 years old and 29 years old, and we know what we know.
Yep. And then every year since 2013, even on up from 2004, like this one, I even re-seen this lady, my auntie. So every time she'll come around and her brother will come around, it'll be like this weird energy, like they don't talk, like they're not involved or something. And I'm always asking like, okay, when they're separated from each other, they got everything in the world to say. They lie by like they didn't see each other. Everything that you can think of that's like bizarre. Acting like then this what they do. One would go in the corner and one would be standing like say next to you on by you, like right next to you. They'll be looking at each other across the room like they want each other, looking like this mysterious look, like a sexual look. It's just out of this world what these people is doing. They very
and one time
nasty.
in 2010 must be 2010, we was over a cousin's house, and over the cousin house my aunt stayed in the middle, my uncle stayed on the end. They all were renting out these houses that was right next door to each other, like efficiencies.
Yeah.
So as we at my cousin house that stayed on the end, we at her house and we keep telling each other something ain't right with them. They keep meeting behind the houses and go sneaking inside of my aunt's house and doing it again. My cousin caught them one day because we opened her eyes and we told her that they over there sleeping with each other. They was doing it. And my brother, I got an oldest brother, he got a baby mother. His baby mother caught them two doing it. I'm like, so many people seeing it, these two sneak and do these types of things. And we're telling our truth because this the year my mom, just knowing that they was doing this and sleeping with each other, my mom didn't even know that this was going on.
Yes, because this is not something you would want for somebody so disgusting to be around you, even if they mean and nasty. You wouldn't. That'd be like the last thing you think of to put two brothers and sisters together. So for that to be a thing nowadays on earth in this world, it is out of it's beyond words.
And it's an abomination.
It's an abomination. So that's why it's beyond a thought process to even have every day. Like, oh, this brother and sister want each other. Or if you see two brothers and sisters living together, that's first thing you wouldn't want to think of is they are having sex. That's the thing that you wouldn't want to think of. Especially if you're a person of God. But if you in a disbelief system and you just feel like there's nothing wrong with that, you got a serious problem too.
And another thing, when they are committing incest, demons is involved. Demons be in the house. You see more heads than two heads that you're supposed to see.
Yes.
It's like they having sex with the demons. We've seen demons.
Yes.
Why are they having sex and things like that? The whole house look like a house, hell house or something of demons. Dark shadows everywhere, different sizes, horns. All of this is going on. Why they laying up with each other committing incest?
Yes, because this is happening in the spirit before the flesh is even tampered with. The spirit, if you is doing something in spirit that's an abomination, you believe me, demons is there in the presence of it.
Yes, that's right.
Yes, it's so nasty. It's just so beyond words, man. But we're going to wrap up this video.
Yes.
And we'll talk to y'all another time. God bless y'all, and we love y'all so, so much.
Yes, we love y'all. See y'all later. Maybe we'll meet up in the clouds. Keep y'all self together and let the Holy Spirit move y'all. Keep y'all ears and hearts soft for the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
He is indwelling and he come into us and move us, and he bring memories and everything back to us. So may the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ be with you all.
Yes.
Amen.
Amen. And this is the year of truth, and everything that is done in flesh, it shall be done in the spirit first. So y'all guys watch yourself, and I love y'all. Amen.
Amen.